Okay, so what happens when you take a food that pretty much everyone loves, I'm talking pizza, and just completely tear up the rule book? Well, today we're diving into a pretty wild culinary showdown that pits two totally opposite ideas of pizza against each other. It's the ultimate battle, sweet versus savory.
This whole duel really gets to the very heart of what a pizza can even be. So let's just start with a simple but kind of mind-bending question. Can a cookie actually be a pizza crust? Just keep that in your back pocket because things are about to get strange and maybe, just maybe, delicious. All right, so at the center of all this is the sweet versus savory pizza challenge. The idea is simple, but wow, the results are pretty out there. It forces the contestants to completely rethink a classic dish from the ground up and basically question everything they thought they knew. Okay, so the rules, they're super straightforward, but they create this amazing clash. You have two competitors. They both have to take one dish, pizza, and run it through two completely different filters. One version has to be nutritious and savory. The other has to be totally decadent and sweet. And in the end, one single judge makes the final call. So who's in the ring? On one side, we've got Team Savory. Think of them as the grandma archetype. Their whole philosophy is about nutrition, tradition, wholesome ingredients. And on the other side, Team Sweet, the dessert archetype, who is basically ready to throw tradition right out the window for some pure sugary indulgence. First up to the plate, let's see what Team Savory is cooking up. True to their name, they're sticking to a classic, health-conscious game plan with their grandma pizza. And yeah, when you look at their ingredient list, it's pretty much exactly what you'd expect from the grandma archetype. They're building on a traditional pizza dough, but then they're topping it with all this nutritious, savory stuff. Broccoli for a dose of greens, classic tomatoes for that familiar taste, and hey, even eggs for a little protein boost. It's all about real, recognizable food. So yeah, their strategy is crystal clear. Lean into what we already recognize as a healthy meal. This pizza is familiar and it's packed with nutrition. It's a safe bet for sure, but a very strong interpretation of the savory side of this challenge. All right, now let's completely switch gears and head over to the wild side. Team Sweet takes a completely different path. They're not just making a sweet pizza, they're basically reinventing the whole concept from the crust on up. And this right here is where things go completely off the rails. I mean, forget about flour and yeast. The crust is made from Oreo cookies. The sauce is a thick layer of Nutella. And for toppings, marshmallows and a surprising hit of marmalade. This is just pure dessert decadence. And you can see exactly how they put this thing together. The process has nothing to do with traditional pizza making. They crush up the Oreos to form a base, slather on that Nutella, and then just pile on the sweet toppings. It is a radical, no-holds-barred approach to the challenge, for sure. So the creations are complete. On one hand, you have a nutritious, savory pizza. On the other, this absolutely outrageous dessert. Now, it all comes down to the judgment. The stage is set. It's tradition versus indulgence, and only one can be crowned the winner. And this is the question on everyone's mind, right? How in the world do you even compare these two? Are you judging on taste? Creativity? Sticking to the theme? Seriously. Which one would you choose? And that's the crucial point. The source material just tells us the judge then decides which version is better. It's a completely subjective call. It's just a single opinion that's going to settle this whole culinary duel. But honestly, who wins is almost beside the point. Because this whole competition leaves us with a much bigger, much more interesting question to think about. It's not just about which dish tasted better. It's about the very nature of food itself and how we define it. Ultimately, a simple challenge like this forces all of us to just step back and question our own assumptions. I mean, we all have such a clear picture of what a pizza is in our minds, but this duel just pushes the boundaries of that familiar food, making us rethink what really defines it. Which brings us to the ultimate question. What really makes a pizza a pizza? Is it the round shape with toppings on a crust, its form? Or is it the savory, cheesy, tomato-based combination we all know and love, its flavor? This challenge doesn't give us the answer, but it certainly makes asking the question a lot more fun.